All right. Okay. See if I can arrange these little cameras to where they're. How do I do this? All right. There we go. Okay. All right. Looks like. Okay. Looks like we're getting rolling here. Okay. Good morning. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. I want to talk a little bit about investing and cash flow in our ever-changing world. I keep hearing this BS that cash is king. Lots of people moving to cash, which is not really 100% true. I mean, you know, I saw some stuff that, Warren Buffett's selling, and I don't even think that's all true. Right now we have the stock market at record highs. Why is the stock market at record highs? The stock market's at record highs because people are putting their money in there, okay? Cash, guys, is not king. Cash has not been king since the Federal Reserve effectively eliminated its value, okay? Back in the 1970s, the Federal Reserve changed the way the dollar was. And it wasn't just the Federal Reserve. I mean, I guess it was the government in general, the House, the Senate, Congress, you know, President, the Fed, all of them. They removed gold from backing the dollar. This is under Nixon, okay? We became a fiat currency. The moment you become a fiat currency, you lose the value of your cash. Now money is not measured at an asset value anymore. Money is now measured in a different way. It's measured against your currency, your economy, okay? So our economy in the United States is what dictates the value of our money. It's why there's so much of an effect when credit rating agencies like Moody's or others come in and say, hey, you know what, like, you know, we're having an issue with you because you have too much debt. Our government has completely failed our country by financially managing things poorly, if this makes sense. Like we've taken money that is not ours, invested it in ways that are stupid, effectively to buy votes. And this is both parties. And what they've done by buying votes is they've damaged the future generations. Like we're going to be in a circumstance where our country is a competitor country for other countries. And I'm not talking militarily, I'm talking economically, okay? Our country understands that cash flow is king. They understand that cash is not king. Cash flow is king. So the fiat currency that our government created back in the 1970s is why they can continue borrowing against the future. They wouldn't be able to borrow interminably like they're doing now if everything was backed by gold. Guys, gold has gone up 10% in value in the last few weeks, okay? Now, that some of you guys will say, oh, well, gold is king. Yeah, gold might be king, but really what our society and economy is designed for, if you want to be rich, is cash flow, okay? We used to have this idea that cash is king because in a downturn, you could use cash to buy distressed assets. We very well could be approaching and or near a downturn. And if you are in a downturn, cash can buy distressed assets. So that's still true. What's changed though is when we removed gold from the dollar, we devalued the dollar substantially, okay? And we changed ourselves from a cash society to a cash flow and credit society. A credit line to you today is far more valuable than cash. And the reason a credit line is far more valuable to you than cash is because the cash is losing money every day sitting in your bank account. What you need to be doing with your cash is taking it and putting it into assets, businesses, opportunities that cash flow. That cash flow is the number one thing that a bank is going to look at with you to say, should we give this person a line of credit? Should we finance this person? Should we give this person access to grow in our current economy and society, right? I mean, the government understands this. The government knows that cash is worthless. That's why they carry none of it. Guys, the government doesn't have any money. The government's $38 trillion in debt. They are completely broke. All they have is cash flow. And frankly, they have deficit cash flow right now. We've been running a deficit wartime economy without a war that we're actively in. If the government is doing this, and then when the government starts doing this, Wall Street started doing this too. Wall Street was like, Hey, wow, the government's doing it because they changed the rules and they can do it. And then Wall Street starts doing it. And then we see rich people start doing what Wall Street's doing. I mean, does this make sense, guys? Put some likes in there if this makes sense. In the 1970s, the government changed the rules. They started operating on a cash flow model. Then Wall Street started operating on a cash flow model, not an equity model, okay? Then wealthy people started operating on a cash flow model, not an equity model. And you know the only people that didn't do this? The middle class and the poor. Well, which population percentage is growing and which population percentage is shrinking their net worth? The middle class are disappearing, okay? Just find me a middle class person that can afford a home nowadays. Find me somebody that can afford a home, okay? Like, what are they gonna be, 50, 60 years old? Like, put some hearts in the comments or some likes in the comments or type I agree if you think it's kind of strange that it used to be that a 35, 40-year-old could buy a home and now it's a 60-year-old that could buy a home comfortably. Why is this? It's because the social contract valuing cash flow was never given to you. You were never educated on this. Cash flow is now king. Cash is no longer king. People that have a lot of money do not have a lot of money invested in cash. They have money invested in things that generate wealth and or that are inflation hedges and or that are tax hedges, okay? So you want your money to do one of three things. You want it to help you pay less taxes. If you have a lot of money and a lot of income and a lot of cash flow, you'll invest in tax hedges. You want your money to be in inflation hedges, things that are going to go up as the government prints more money. Like gold is a fantastic inflation hedge. If you were on my live 3 or 4 weeks ago and you heard me tell you invest in gold, you've made at least 10%. Guys, in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, gold has gone up 10%. And gold doesn't go up because, people want it more, all right? That's not happening. It's not like more people are buying gold jewelry when we're in an economic tight, situation that we're in now, okay? And by the way, guys, if this is helping, do me a favor. Click like, share the live. If this is helping you and you're one of the folks on my live, do me a favor, share it. Like it helps the algorithm, the hearts help, the comments help, the shares help, all that helps. So, we need to do, and this may sound controversial, we need to do what wealthy people are doing. Society needs to understand that there is a system that you use to become wealthy and successful, and there is a system that you don't use. The problem is our parents grew up in a society where cash was king. They believed in this thing called equity and they would, I want to pay off my house. It's actually a terrible idea to pay off your house. If you've got the money to pay off your house with your 4, 5, 6, 7% interest rate loan, but then you've got the same money to go invest in a hard money lending company that can make you 12%. Why would you pay off something that cost you 5 or 6%? The average mortgage in America is what, like 5? Why would you pay off something making 5% when you can invest in an asset that's backed by $1 billion fund that's going to pay you 12, 15, 17% on your money? Like there's good funds out there doing this stuff. Why would you pay off your house if you could put it into gold right now and it went up 10% in the last 3 weeks? The socioeconomic deal has changed. And the problem with the poor and the middle class, and yes, there's a problem with the poor and the middle class, is they're uneducated. They don't know that the deal has changed. Please put some hearts, likes, and shares if this makes sense to you. Effectively, we've got Wall Street that's lying to the middle class and the poor. We've got the rich that are lying to the middle class and the poor. We've got the government that never stopped lying to the middle class and the poor. And we've never convinced the middle class and the poor that they should be investing their money in cash flow, okay? In fact, I heard a saying the other day and it was so true. The rich invest, the middle class save, the poor spend, okay? Let me repeat that because I hope you guys get this. The rich invest, which means what are they doing? They're going after cash flow. The middle class save, which means what are they doing? They're paying off their homes. So their money's not working for them outside of the inflation they're getting in one home. Say they took that exact same money that they paid off their home with it and they bought 4 other homes. In an economy where the government is printing money and borrowing money like it's going out of style, those 4 homes would have inflated at the same rate that the one did, and that middle class person would have done what? He would have entered the wealthy class. Like success leaves clues, guys, and we're not using the clues. We're following an outdated system, which is fair. We're following an outdated system because our parents grew up in that system. The government changed the system. Wall Street figured it out. The rich figured it out. And you know who didn't figure it out? You guys. And what is that doing? It's limiting your ability to have growth, success, and frankly, a future, because it's not slowing down. It's speeding up. And in a little bit, we'll get into questions on why. Oh, thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. So, how do we hedge ourselves to get ahead in the next upcoming generation if all of this is speeding up? I mean, what do the Gen Z people need to know? And not just Gen Z. If you're older than Gen Z like me, if you got some gray coming in, I think gray's sexy, then you need to know this as well. We need to invest in things that are cash flow hedges, inflation hedges, tax hedges. Why? Because it's going to be what pushes us up. When you are in an economic trend, it's sort of like surfing a wave. Share this if it makes sense to you, okay? When you're surfing a wave, do you want to be behind the wave? No, you want to be in front of the wave. Why? Because it's going to propel you forward. Well, what are factors in the wave right now? Like, what's our government doing? Chime in and type this in if you can. What is our government doing today? Like, this is bipartisan. This is not Democrat. This is not Republican. This is bipartisan. They're all doing it. What's happening today? What is our government doing? Can somebody type into the comments, what is our government doing today that we should look at and get ahead of a trend? I would love to see somebody type into the comments, printing money, living in a deficit, spending beyond their means. If you agree with this, put some hearts, put some likes, put some shares. Guys, the government is printing, spending, and borrowing at a rate that if you did so would be completely unsustainable. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, I don't care, what does that mean for me? Well, if any of you guys know what the word inflation means, maybe if you're in the poor or the middle class, you might be hearing that word a lot. Well, guess what? That word, you might not even know what it meant 5, 6, 10 years ago because it wasn't really relevant. It wasn't the same. Like, we were living in that 2% inflation. The Fed is talking, oh, this is our target. We want to go back to it. Yet Trump wants to, drop the interest rates by 300 basis points, which would bring back very low interest rate mortgages. Do you guys know what percentage housing is to the inflation rate? I think it's like 3% when you look at CPI. But if you actually look at how much it really is when you factor that the builders are buying the doorknobs, buying the sheetrock, buying all the different things that go into the houses, it's 18 to 27%. You think if we drop interest rates and there's 3 or 4 years worth of pent up demand of people wanting to get into the home because they're unaffordable today with the current rates, that there's not going to be inflation? There will be inflation. There's going to be enormous inflation. You think the tariffs are not inflationary? I know this is a giant argument. Oh, tariffs aren't inflationary. That's not true. They are inflationary. They're not inflationary yet because right now the companies in other countries are eating the inflation, but they are inflationary. This is why the Fed held off, guys. Okay? And I'm not making a political statement here. Like, I'm not trying to, shill for Republicans or shill for Democrats. I mean, I'm an independent, and so I like to shill for wealth. I like to give people, hey, here's what you should do if you want to make shitloads of money. Like, if you're one of those fools that goes and watches MSNBC or Fox News and that's where you get all of your truth, look, you're going to be broke and angry anyway. Like, there's nothing anyone can do to save you until you get off of that. Like, put some likes and hearts in the comments if you agree with that one. If you're one of those shills for, hey, I need to go be partisan about every single thing. One side's always wrong and the other side's always right. And regardless of which side you're on, you're looking at the world from a frame of like, hey, you know what? Somebody's wrong. The other guy's wrong. My neighbor is wrong. I mean, I've seen more posts in this last few weeks. Oh, we need a civil war. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need that. I've also seen posts that were like pro-murder. And I'm like, holy shit, like we have totally disrupted the brain power of the human species. Like, we've made people hate their neighbors, hate their brothers, and destroy one another for this sake of what? Like media? Like because we're listening to some foul truth that somebody else is putting in? And we're missing the point. What people should be shilling for is how do we become successful in our environment? Like, if you look at what's internal and what's external, you're going to be successful. You don't need some politician or influencer or pundit to give you truth. What you need for truth is the ability to underwrite what is happening. And what is happening right now is America is following the wrong ideas. Like, we're following the wrong ideas. We still live in the greatest country on earth. There is still more opportunity here than there's ever been. But you can't be the sheep. You need to be the wolf. You need to be the planter. You need to be the shepherd, maybe not the wolf, okay? You need to be looking at where do I go and how do I win? If this makes sense, put some likes, put some hearts. But if you're looking at how to win, it's not going to come from some pundit online that's telling you, hey, here's who to hate. That's not where you're going to get how do I win. You're going to get how do I win, not from who to hate. Oh, it's Dave Asprey as a guest. Let me see if that's the real Dave. Yeah. I'll send him a little invite, see how he's doing if he's there. You don't get how to win if you're watching MSNBC or Fox News, guys. You get how to win by paying attention to what's going on in the economy. You get how to win by looking at what the wealthy are doing. Success leaves clues, and we should take those clues, leverage them, and copy them. If that makes sense, type OK in the comments or type I will in the comments. What do we need to do to win? Let's go into a few points, and I'd love to see some of your comments on this. What do we need to do to win financially in the next chapter? Because the next chapter is going to be more difficult, not less difficult than the last chapter. Like if you're pissed off today, you're going to be extremely pissed in the upcoming years. If you don't like what's going on now, more economic bad decision making by our government, and yes, Trump is making terrible economic decisions when it comes to spending. He's making good economic decisions when it comes to growth, and there could be an argument that, hey, you know what, maybe he'll be able to grow us out of the deficit and later we'll be at good economic decisions. But his own team is not working with him. And when I say his own team, like, you got to remember, he appointed Jerome Powell. Like, Jerome Powell was on his team. Like, that was Trump's guy. They're not working with him. And so unless you have everybody on your team rowing in the same direction, you're not going to have a successful outcome. You're going to be spinning the boat, which is what's happening right now. Our government is spinning the boat, not moving in a direction, because the government's own team is not working with them. Like, let's be real clear on that. Trump appointed Powell. Powell's not working with Trump. So if everybody's supposed to be rowing in the same direction, they're not. Okay? You have a very critical player that is completely unregulated. It's why Trump calls Powell too late. Okay? Because he's mad at him because he's not working for the team. So Trump's plan, which is to grow us out of our deficit, is not going to happen. Okay? Because Powell's not going to allow it to happen. So it's not going to happen till at least when? When is Powell out of office? Somebody type in when Powell's out of office. I mean, I'd love to see if anybody can, if anybody knows that, you're ahead of 90% of America on economics. Yeah, let's see. Does anybody know when Powell's out of office? Powell's out of office, guys, May of next year, which means Powell has between now and then to do whatever he wants, to be as disruptive as he wants. Guys, that's almost halfway through Trump's term, which means Trump's plan to grow us out of the deficit isn't going to work. What does that mean? More government spending, more deficit, more debt, less stability to the American economy, potentially more downgrades by Moody's and other credit rating agencies, which will do what to the dollar? Will it increase its value or diminish its value? It will diminish its value, guys. So what's going to be valuable if the dollar diminishes in value? Like, and by the way, if you guys disagree or agree, I'd love to see your arguments or agreements. Type in if you agree or disagree with this. I would like to see if you guys think that the country is going in the right direction or the wrong. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on what you think. Is the government in the right direction or the wrong direction right now, y'all? Because that dynamically affects what you do with your money. Right now, what we should be doing with our money is getting as much as possible to the point that we are uncomfortable in inflation assets and in cash flow assets. What do we need to cash flow just to make up for inflation? Do you guys really think that the little CPI rate saying that we're under 4%, 3%, the Fed's target with their PCE is 2%, right? And we're not there. Like we're like 3 point something. What do we need to be invested at just to keep up with inflation? Do you really think it's 3%? 4%? Do you think it's the inflation rate the government publishes? Do you think their numbers are honest? Are they removing from their numbers food, fuel, and construction materials? If they're doing that, and those are the three things you spend the most money on, fuel is energy, so you heat your house with fuel. Food, like that's the grocery store. Construction materials, that's your house, that's your car. So if the government is removing those things from their inflation report, what's the real fucking inflation report, guys? You need to be invested, I think, right now, just to break even, getting a return of 6 to 7%. I think if you're sitting in a money market account at 4% or 5% right now, you're losing money. Like if you were sitting in my office 3 weeks ago and you sat with me and heard about gold, if you were sitting on this live 2 or 3 weeks ago and you heard about gold, you've made 10% on your money in a few weeks. By the way, congratulations. If you weren't there, don't worry. I think we're still in a melt up and you still have time. I think gold is going to go through the roof. I think we are in an economic melt up right now. And the reason I think that is because of more government spending, more malfeasance. If you guys agree with this, put a thumbs up or a heart in the comments. The government is, do we have a question?
Someone put country thumbs up, the value of USD down.
Yeah, the country's going up. So somebody's absolutely correct. I mean, the country's going in a direction, right? Like, we have a plan. I think the Democrats lost the election in the last presidential election because there really was not a plan. They were just angry at the other team, okay? Oh, who said I've been in gold since November? Senna B. No, you're very smart. And if you've been in gold since November, then you are doing incredibly well. Yeah, I mean, gold has done nothing but trend up, up, and up. And I'll bet you've liked the last 3 weeks a lot, right? You can do options on gold right now with as much as it's grown. It's crazy. If you're in like GLD or a digital gold. I like digital gold because the cash flow is fantastic. Or the cash accessibility, not flow, the cash accessibility. I don't want to misquote myself on these social media apps. Somebody will go and, loop it or do one of those little duets and be like, cash flow from gold. I'm like, So, yeah, the dollar is devaluing. The United States is going in a direction. I don't know if it's a good direction. Like, I'm very pro free trade, and I know that our sister companies, even our partner sister countries, like our NATO countries, our partner countries, our allies have not been very pro free trade. Like, they've used tariffs and barriers and things like that. So I do like that Trump is doing something about that, but I think he's going a step beyond, and unless he comes back down later, I think we're going to be in serious trouble in the long term on tariffs. I think tariffs are inflationary, okay? I think government spending is highly inflationary. I think lower interest rates will be inflationary. So you need to be in cash flow assets and inflation assets. Yes, we all got great tax breaks, so there's never been a better time to invest. And by the way, I don't know if you realize this, but investing to save on taxes is not a rich people thing. It's an all people thing. Like, one of the interesting things, and I'm not a CPA, so go ask your CPA this and verify. Don't go listen to some guy on TikTok, even though I hope I'm giving you the questions to ask your CPA. If you're poor or middle class and you go buy a vehicle, say you buy a truck over 6,000 pounds, I think is the number, but your CPA will know the exact number. Say you make 50 grand a year and you buy a $50,000 truck. I think there's a way with the tax code that you can write off that vehicle and cut your taxes. If you would have been taxed $10,000, guess what? You're going to get a big refund. You're not going to pay that taxes. And if you take just that money and you put it in an inflation asset, that inflation asset is going to go up in value. This is what the rich are doing. This is what the poor don't do. This is why the middle class is losing equity. Guys, cash is no longer king. Cash flow is king. And cash flow is king. And you don't know this because your government, Wall Street, and the rich have lied to you. What you're investing in, I'm going to pay off my home, I'm going to save money in the bank, and all that, that's all great, but that's a super rich play. Like, I don't know wealthy people, I'm talking truly wealthy people that are making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars a year that are worried about paying off their home first. That's what they do when they have so much money they can't reinvest it, okay? If you can't reinvest your money because it's coming in too quickly, then, thanks, Taryn. Yeah, they put on my churchy playlist, puts me in a good mood. I've got a coaching call here in 15 minutes that I got to do. In fact, since we've got 15 minutes, I want to make sure that I'm answering questions. Do you guys have questions on the economy, on what's coming, on what to invest in, on what you need to do to become successful, on what the government's doing, politics? I don't really want to get into some of the nuanced issues. I don't want to talk religion or abortion, but because that doesn't necessarily affect the same way, unless you have a question where it actually can. then I'm not interested in it. I like what is going to change your money, what is going to change your life, what is going to create new wealth opportunities, because I think life is 4 things, guys: faith, family, fitness, finance. And if you do these 4 things incredibly well, you're going to be successful. And the one that most people should start with, even though I would love if everybody started with faith and they were just happy and compelled, started with family and they had great lives, it's not real, because life is too complicated. You got one hand for money problems and one hand for life problems. Well, guess what? If you solve the one for money problems, you got 2 hands for life problems. And so the family and the fitness and the faith kind of fit in that life problems area. Let's solve the money problems first. Like, how do you get more money? Well, effectively, you have to bring laborers to work for you, and the easiest laborers to get to work for you are dollars, okay? And so if you can bring dollars to work for you, like say you make $1,000 a week and you live off 900, great, put 100 in stock, okay? Let's see, we got Taryn asking, any stock tips? Stock tips right now, Open Door is going down, which I'm really excited about. That's kind of the meme stock of the month. I saw it in the 7s today. I would keep an eye on that, because I do think that's a $10 stock to a $20 stock in probably May of next year. Once we have Jerome Powell out of the Fed and Trump putting in somebody who's a Trump shill, who's going to drop rates and do whatever he wants. If Trump wins on the Lisa Cook thing and gets her out, he'll get to appoint her replacement. If Trump has Jerome Powell out, he'll get to put a new Fed chair. I mean, between Waller, Bowman, I can't remember the guy who just put in Stephen Milan or Moran or something like that. If he gets Cook out, he's going to have 4 of the 7 voting members. He's going to have the majority. He will get his rate cuts. It doesn't even matter if there's dissents or politicization. That stock will go through the roof. So watch Open Door and see if that one can be something you can get. I'd say in the 5s or lower. If that goes to the 5s, 6s or lower, I would be very interested in potentially even buying more myself. Other stocks that I'd be looking at, I mean, my favorite one right now is GLD. It's an index that follows gold. I think the government is giving us reason to believe that there is going to be a significant hard asset melt up. A lot of people are saying, oh, go invest in Bitcoin, and that's probably not a bad idea. Cryptocurrency is probably not a bad idea, but only in that it is an inflation hedge. I mean, when the dollar devalues, cryptocurrency goes up. I'm not much of a crypto guy, so I wouldn't give you that advice personally. I would say gold is going to beat crypto. But if you look at the last 5 years, Bitcoin has gone through the roof. I mean, I think it was at 16,000 a share, and now it's over 100,000 a share. So, gold has not done that. Like, I think going forward, I believe gold will do that. I think Bitcoin kind of had its big run when people were able to do ETFs around it, things like that. That was probably the biggest single gain, was the market perception of what that would do in the lead up. I don't see how you get that to have another exponential rise like it did. I think gold will be the best bet for a stock in the short term. I like the S&P 500 from a security standpoint. Oh, silver, I love silver. So when I'm saying gold is a hard asset and it's going to go up. Silver's actually gone up tremendously as well. Anything that they're not producing any more of, that you can't make any more of, like you can't make more gold, you can't make more silver. I guess you can mine a little bit of it, but they're making dollars so much faster than they're making gold or silver. So like if you're asking for stock tips, that's what I do. I will tell you, I think the best investment personally right now, because all investing is the same thing, guys. It's buy low and sell higher later. Like that's what investing is. I believe the best investment right now, believe it or not, is a single family home. I think a single family home is the best investment. The reason is, if you're an investor that can either buy rental property or a homeowner that's just been on the fence and waiting, you have a tax hedge. I mean, you can write off any mortgage you took where the bank helped you buy the home. So that's all a write-off. You can write off maintenance. So you can actually lower your tax bracket by going into a single family home. And here's what's really cool. The rates are high right now, so the market is probably at its low. If Trump gets the rates down over the next year, you'll be able to refinance that home at a much lower rate, meaning you bought at the market bottom. Next year, once the rates have dropped, a lot of homeowners that have been sitting on their house because they didn't want to sell when the rates were too high are going to sell their houses. And this is rental investors and homeowners. They're going to sell, they're going to get their cash, they're going to pivot out, they're going to, benefit from that. that's going to distress the rental market by taking away a massive amount of supply, and it's going to drive rents up. So I think single family homes you're kind of at the market bottom. So if you have staying power for a year, you can buy right now, refinance in a year to two, right? So you're going to have crap cash flow for a year. You'll get rental increases over that time because a lot of people are going to be, divesting of their single family assets as rates change and go down. And you're going to see a bunch of new buyers coming in. So you're going to get a huge inflation push. You're going to get a cash flow push because values of rents, the market supply and demand is going to change. So single family is my favorite asset. I bought over 100 homes in the last year personally. I think that's going to be a major, major, major gain. Okay, so, if you don't have the cash or capital or credit to go get into a house, though, go buy GLD. Get a trading app, whether it's Robinhood or Charles Schwab, whatever, and go buy GLD. Like, gold should go through the roof. Like, my kid, funny enough, cool story. He literally, very proud of him. He made $1,000. He has invested, or he saved his money, and he's made $1,000. He did a lemonade stand, all of this, and he was sitting in it in cash, and we talked about investing. Well, he took his $1,000 and he put it into gold stock. His $1,000 is now $1,100. And so my kid at the ripe old age of 9 is floored that he was just sitting on his money. Like, he's a saver and his $1,000 is $1,100 in 3 weeks. I think we might have given him a perception that it's a little easier than it normally is. Normally you don't get a 10% gain in 3 weeks. Like, a lot of times that's a year. But when you're going through a melt up because the government is spending money like it's going out of style, guess what? Guys, hey, I want to thank you all for being on the live. I'm going to head out in the next 5 to 7 minutes, but I know you could have done a lot of different things with your morning. You could have gone and spent it, eating junk food, smoking pot, drinking alcohol, doing, Facebook or TikTok scrolling on videos that don't do anything for you. And for those of you guys that stuck around and listened to content that added value, I appreciate it. Please offer feedback if you don't mind. Share what you want to learn, what you want to know, what you want us to research, what you want us to look into. I'm doing these lives every single Tuesday just to get it out there, to get you guys information. I'm not going to talk about stuff outside my core skill sets. Like, I'm a guy that got wealthy and successful building businesses and investing. So if you want to know about business, if you want to know about investments, if you want to know about the economy, government, politics, cut through the noise and get real news that actually might help you figure out where to put your money, I'd love to be somebody that can add value to you there. And if you have questions in the interim, I've got 2 amazing young ladies. I'll turn one of the cameras, at least the TikTok camera. Say hi, Dom and Alexis.
Hi-o.
I stay off social media outside of these lives and just do research and find ways to make my money make money. But those gals, thank God, I pay them to be on my social media, and they look at any question you send, any comment you send, anything like that, and they bring it to me so that we can respond to you and get you the answers you need. We want you guys to be successful. I think America is the greatest country in the world. It's made me wealthy, successful, and free. And I want that for everyone. And I've found that the biggest problem with most people is not that they're not working hard or trying, it's that they have the wrong information. There's information kind of paralysis because there's so much of it, they don't know what to look at and where to go. People lost faith in media. Strangely, people are now losing faith in social media because there was political, tentacles in media and then political tentacles in the social media sites. We're seeing this huge move to influencers and podcasters, but there's so many of them. You got the narcissists that just want attention, and then you got the people that are actually doing something because they want to give back. I like to think of myself as the second one, but if you think I'm a narcissist, that's okay too. I like the haters as much as the fans. So anything you guys need going forward, chime it in, type it in the comments. This is not a sales hustle like most of the accounts, and we're here to help. I hope you guys have an amazing day on purpose. And if there's no other questions, we'll give you guys 30 seconds, a minute to chime in other questions, and we're going to pop off and get ready for our coaching call with our clients.
There's one on Facebook. She asked if you buy single-family homes only in Texas.
We're Texas and New Mexico, but really the El Paso market. So the question is, do we buy homes only in Texas? I buy property where I can reach out and touch it. I've sampled doing other stuff. I bought a lot of multifamily all around the country. We tried to focus on conservative markets. We did this a few years ago to get tax benefits and cash flow. Well, the cash flow kind of disappeared in the multifamily space, and they're not properties I can walk out and see and touch, because some of them are in Tennessee or Dallas or this, that, or the other. So when it comes to real estate, I believe in investing locally. I believe in investing in your market. I believe you should invest in things where you can drive out, go see the property, go deal with it. Like if you have a tenant that's taking advantage of you, you can deal with your local court system in your local market as a local person and get them evicted. If you have a repair issue, you're dealing with local maintainers. You can walk into your property management company and talk to local, real people. You know, you're not dealing with some AI chatbot. Like, I think the risks are substantially mitigated when you're not buying everywhere. I think that's a very good question, by the way. Whoever asked that, I really appreciate it. I think local market is really key, at least in the real estate investing space. Any other questions? We've got about 3 more minutes before we dive off here and go onto our coaching call.
Someone said, appreciate that you share your knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Louise sent a heart.
Aw, Luis sent a heart. I don't know if we can respond with a heart, but if we can, give Luis a heart. Thank you, Luis, for that heart. All right, guys, I think we are tuning out. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your time. Hopefully this added value. I hope all of you guys are getting your money in inflation hedges, cash flow hedges, and tax hedges. Remember, guys, cash is no longer king. The government's changed the rules. The rules have now been changed. Wall Street knows it. Wealthy people know it. If you don't know it, you're not at the table, guys. You're on the menu. This is why the middle class is disappearing at an alarming rate. You don't have to be one of them. This is the single greatest time to change your wealth. It will be the easiest time to change your wealth. You can become filthy, stinking rich right now. Everyone can. Everyone can become wealthy right now. The reason most won't is they won't get the right information. Please get the right information and become wealthy. Love you. Have an amazing day on purpose.